First at 4, debris discovered in the Atlantic Ocean leads to a devastating conclusion. All passengers aboard a missing sub have been lost. Also, an election investigation in Michigan leads to criminal charges.
These are financial crimes we're talking about today, but they're also crimes against our democracy. And against the
Several candidates and thousands of voters probably affected by this one. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Christy. Well, we sure could use the rain. We're not seeing it right now. We've got sunshine, temperatures in the 70s, but there is a lot of rain in the forecast. We'll talk about when in a couple of minutes.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
First at 4, the U.S. Coast Guard is reporting a, quote, catastrophic event that took the lives of the pilot and crew aboard a small submersible missing for 4 days. Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining me. I'm Christy McDonald in for Karen Drew today. We knew today would be a tough one, as the crew on that missing submersible was likely to run out of oxygen very early this morning. Then, hours later, crews discovered debris. Kimberly Gill joins us with a devastating announcement from the Coast Guard today. Kim.
It is really devastating, and good afternoon to you, Christy. It's been a tough one. Those 5 people left Sunday for an adventure in the North Atlantic, hoping to see the legendary wreckage of the Titanic. In the past hour, though, we've learned they've all died after some sort of underwater implosion. The odds against a rescue were always overwhelming. The small submersible was lost in a very difficult and dangerous part of the ocean. The crew had limited oxygen, but they may have already been dead for days. Today, rescue crews found debris near the wreckage of the Titanic. It's been confirmed the material is consistent with some kind of catastrophic event for the sub known as the Titan. The Coast Guard is sending condolences to the families of those lost at sea and describes what comes next.
We're going to continue to investigate the site of the debris field. And then I know that there's also a lot of questions about how, why, and when did this happen. And so, you know, those are questions that we will collect as much information as we can on now. While the governments are meeting and discussing, you know, what an investigation of this nature of a casualty might look like.
Now, officials were asked when the sub may have imploded, and while they didn't have a pinpointed time, they did say sonar buoys have been in the water for a few days now and never picked up the sound of any catastrophic event. And officials also say that those underwater sounds that we talked about yesterday during our newscast were probably not related now to this submersible.
You know, there are so many things that we don't quite know about this yet, but people are thinking of the families, and if there is any chance at all that the bodies may be recovered in this case.
So during that press conference, the Rear Admiral, he said he really couldn't answer that question, but he pointed out any recovery would be very, very difficult given the catastrophic ending for the sub and the unforgiving conditions in that part of the Atlantic. So we're still sorting through all the details in that news conference. We'll have more when you join us for Local 4 News at 5.
All right, sounds good. A lot more information to come. Thanks, Kim. Well, the combination of a stolen gun and teenagers shooting some kind of video turned deadly for a 14-year-old boy in Detroit. Police released new details this afternoon on the shooting. It happened in the 1600 block of Fordham near Kelly and 7 Mile. Investigators say 3 teenagers were in an upstairs bedroom of a home shooting a video when the gun went off. The 14-year-old was dead at the scene. Police say they got the weapon through a criminal activity called car hopping.
What they do is they drive out to the suburban cities, even in our city, before people jump out of a car, and they go to the handles of cars. They jump in. If cars are open, they jump in, take what they can. That's how they got this gun in Chesterfield Township 2 days ago.
Police are questioning a 15-year-old, and they are looking for a 16-year-old. The gun owner in this case could also face charges for not properly securing the weapon. Well, we are tracking criminal charges in a massive election investigation here in Michigan, and it focuses on fake signatures on nominating petitions. One suspect is being urged to turn himself in. Sean Wilmoth and Jamie Wilmoth Gooden face several charges in this case. They are accused of forging signatures on petitions of several political candidates. A third suspect, 37-year-old Willie Reed, has not been arrested yet and is being asked to turn himself in. Attorney General Dana Nessel says the scheme impacted 5 candidates for governor in 2022, along with some judicial candidates. She says the suspects ran businesses claiming that they could provide verified signatures to get candidates on the ballot, but failed to deliver.
When those who operate these businesses pervert the process and commit outright fraud and forgery, and in doing so swindle their clients out of tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, these bad actors must be held accountable.
Reporter Rod Maloney is working the story right now, and he will have reaction from former Detroit Police Chief James Craig because he's one of the candidates impacted by this case. That part of the story is tonight at 5 o'clock. All right, let's get a quick check of the weather. Some morning raindrops downtown turned into a really lovely afternoon of sunshine. Meteorologist Kim Adams is here. And Kim, all right, how does our evening look?
Well, our evening, it looks dry, and this morning there were a few raindrops downtown, a couple more in Macomb County, but most of the area was dry this morning, and we really could use the rain. The only place that it's 80 right now, Flint, also in Lansing, they're at 82, but the rest of Metro Detroit only in the mid to upper 70s, which is just a touch below normal, and also cooler than it was yesterday, but by about 7 degrees at Metro, also in the city, 3 degrees warmer up to our north, and about 5 degrees warmer in Pontiac and in Mount Clemens. So visible satellite, I show you this because we do have some clouds today, more than what we had yesterday. So as you head out tonight, expect those clouds to continue to thicken up as temperatures drop down into the 60s. We do have rain in the forecast for tomorrow, and we'll time that out for you hour by hour in just a couple of minutes.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you later, Kim. The Republican race for president in 2024 just picked up another challenger, pushing the total number of candidates to more than a dozen. Former Texas Congressman Will Hurd is a fierce critic of former President Donald Trump. He says he's hoping to offer a more moderate alternative in the Republican field. He says, quote, "We need common sense." Hurd is also a one-time CIA officer. He is the 14th declared candidate seeking the Republican nomination for president in 24. Now the story of a 100-year-old Marine veteran who is launching a new quest to honor his service. Lee Vernon Newby Jr. was injured overseas during an enemy attack, but he left the service without recognition for his bravery or severe injuries. Paula Tutman joins us from his home in Warren, which is now the headquarters for his battle to finally get a Purple Heart. Paula.
Yeah, first of all, I want to show you this. I don't know how many people have seen one of these up close, let alone hold one. This is a Congressional Gold Medal. Yes, that's what this is. Belongs to this gentleman right here. And as impressive as this medal is, he's missing another really, really important medal. Drafted in 1942 at age 18 as one of the nation's first black Marines, Lee Vernon Newby Jr. trained and served in the segregated division, and in 1943 shipped to the Solomon Islands while working in maintenance and machinery as an attachment to the white units preparing guns and vehicles. His unit came under enemy attack.
I don't know what hit me. I didn't see it coming, but I knew I was on fire. Something hit me right in my chest, and I flame, and when I got up, all this skin in my chest was just hanging down.
When the vehicle he was working on exploded, it exploded on Newby. With burns over more than 40% of his body, he was not expected to survive, let alone return to service, then get an honorable discharge, and eventually raise a family. When he turned 100 years old last April, there was a huge party for him and other veterans.
President! Arms!
And that's when his daughters realized he didn't have a Purple Heart.
And looking at the other servicemen there, I'm like, why is it that Dad does not have a Purple Heart?
And so now the family has launched a campaign to right the wrong. When he was discharged, not only did he not receive his Purple Heart, but was only awarded 10% disability.
He should have received 100% pension.
I was wounded very. I was shipped in, put over there, and I was put in harm's way.
The Montford Point Marines of America was the black Marine unit in the 40s.
Racism in the military was rampant at that time. Discrimination was rampant. They were not eligible for promotions in rank. They did not get their meritorious ribbons and badges, okay, and medals. like their white counterparts.
When Newby was discharged, there was no mention that when he was injured during an enemy attack.
So I think it just comes down to miscategorization of the account, and it needs to be investigated truly.
Yeah, and this is where we say, but wait, there's more, because what a lot of people may not realize is the gateway to get this kind of thing settled is really through your U.S. Senator's office. I actually called Senator Stabenow's office, told them about Mr. Newby. They actually have a unit that investigates this. They gave me information. The family called them this afternoon. And so, Christy, we are waiting for that investigation to start, be completed, and we will definitely follow up on this as it moves along the channels.
Absolutely, Paula, getting this story to the right people. And thanks to Mr. Newby for his service. Thanks so much, Paula.